Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the video, and this is going to be guys a spoiler review and breakdown of Peacemaker episode 6. Before we get into it, if you guys are new in here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on so you don't miss any time I upload a new video or I go live. Both are wasting more time. Let's get into it. So, Peacemaker episode 6. This was by far the funniest episode in the show so far, at least for me personally. Every single one of the comedic bits actually hit. Like, they were all really good. There wasn't any one that was too dragged on, but another thing that comes into play with this is that there wasn't too many long running comedic bits in this episode itself, so it makes sense as to why I was more of a fan of it in this episode. I would say episode 4's comedy was also phenomenal, but this one just really stands out to me. I think it's also because it had a perfect mix of seriousness and comedicness, and so I think it flowed really well together. But now moving on to specifics in this episode, starting off at the very beginning, I absolutely loved how they handled the reveal from last episode and how Murn is actually a good guy. That's actually really interesting to me, how different butterflies have different motives and stuff like that. And I also love the performance behind Murn and how honestly passionate the actor felt about the character. And it really just felt like, because before Murn really wasn't that much of a heartfelt character, and I think that was done for a reason, because once he was revealed to be a butterfly, once we understood his true motives and the fact that he still felt guilty for taking over someone else's body, that all still sticks with us as watchers. And I think it was a great reveal and it was done really well. Having that emotional performance and basically that regret that Murn has of taking over someone else's body, that regret is still there and it sticks with the butterfly that took over Murn's body. And so that is very interesting to me. But next up is when Smith gets released from prison by Sophie, and this is a really great part of the episode just because of the music alone. The music in this entire episode is so good, but nevertheless, this is just an important plot point that I did want to mention. I love what they're doing with Smith's character in this entire show so far. I loved him in the first 3 episodes. He wasn't in the last 2 episodes as much as I wanted to, and even in this episode, he wasn't in it too much, but the moments that he was in it, there was a decent amount of character development, so I'm very excited to see where he goes from here. Now, after Smith gets released from prison, Sophie basically gets an arrest warrant to go get Peacemaker, and that's what they do. That's a good chunk of this episode, but I really do enjoy it. I think that the comedy before they get to Peacemaker's trailer is so good between Vigilante and Peacemaker. I also love the editing in this show overall. So for example, in this part of the episode, while Peacemaker and Vigilante are talking, Murn is trying to call them and get a hold of them to let them know that the police are going to get in, or they have an arrest warrant to arrest Peacemaker. And at the same time, you see the police officers go to Peacemaker's trailer while everything is happening inside the trailer and outside with Murn and the other team and everything like that. Like, you see everything happening at once, and that's so great. They also do this later in the episode with another reveal, which I'll talk about later. Through these comedic moments, when the police officers are getting to Peacemaker's trailer and Vigilante and Peacemaker are talking, we start to reveal more of Peacemaker's good side. At the end of this episode, we get a massive reveal about Peacemaker's character himself and his character arc and stuff like that. Again, I'll mention that later, but right now as a whole, like in this moment, they did a great job of explaining Peacemaker's motive. And Vigilante questions him. He's like, we used to be cold-blooded killers and now you're just becoming super soft and all that kind of stuff. And it's great to see Peacemaker try to explain himself and try to understand why he did it before and why he doesn't want to do it anymore. And I just think that's a great character development. But then after all this dialogue, after Peacemaker and Vigilante escape the house to get on the tree, Vigilante basically falls from the top of a tree, and since he has the butterfly taped to him in the jar breaks when he falls, and then the butterfly goes into Sophie and she officially becomes an alien. And this is very important because this basically changes the entire show. But quickly skipping a little bit ahead to Peacemaker and Vigilante basically being done with the whole escaping thing, they get away because one of the cops basically that works with Murn, he murders the other cops, letting Peacemaker and Vigilante go. But this has to be my favorite part of the episode, where Peacemaker and Vigilante basically like just storm into their headquarters or wherever the team is, and Peacemaker starts to question everybody, but no one can really answer him, not even Adebayo. No one answers what he's saying, and he gets super pissed that, oh, I thought we were a team, all that kind of stuff. And this just shows at the end of the last episode and in the review last week, I did say they're gonna be a team for now, but there's always gonna be something that breaks the super happy team up, and this is it. All of them know the truth except for Vigilante and Peacemaker, and like, no shit, they're gonna be a liability because they're stupid at times, but it makes sense from a team chemistry perspective. Like, obviously you should let them know. Actually, maybe not Vigilante. Vigilante's kind of an idiot, but Peacemaker, at least you gotta let Peacemaker know. And just seeing this distrust between the entire team and seeing Hardcore and Adebayo want to tell Peacemaker and Murn not telling him, and basically Murn trying to get mad at Peacemaker, but then Peacemaker obviously has a better retaliation, talking about the murdering murdering cop and how he murdered one unconscious person and killed off 2 other people. But once again, skipping a little bit more ahead, basically the alien that took over Sophie's head goes out to this massive open field and a bunch of other butterflies come down, and then she storms the police department. They get a bunch of prisoners and everyone becomes butterflies. I think what made this even more epic is the score behind it. It was so cool. And this is another moment in which the editing just really hits peak. And this is what happened earlier in the episode. So as Sophie and the aliens are taking over the police department, Smith is getting into his white dragon suit with basically at a KKK meeting or something like that. And they're showing these clips back and forth, showing 2 different aspects of the story. Because earlier in the episode, Smith says, I should have done what I'm about to do a long time ago, which basically means kill his son. So we have the white dragon storyline with Smith versus Peacemaker. And then we obviously have Sophie, the aliens, the butterfly. That's the main thing going on. But then we get to probably the biggest Peacemaker character development in the entire show so far, which is Peacemaker and Harcourt talking at the end of all of this happening. And Peacemaker literally says the dove of peace does not matter on the gun anymore because he doesn't want to kill. And then Harcourt says that this is the worst possible time for him to say that because they have to murder a bunch of aliens. And then he says he's fine with murdering aliens, but he doesn't want to kill anyone innocent. And I think seeing that murdering cop earlier in the episode, I think that did change his mind a lot. And I think that really did influence him, because even earlier before that, Vigilante pulls out a knife to kill Sophie and Peacemaker says you can't do that because she's a cop. So he obviously has respect for human life. But now we get to the ending of the episode, and every single episode so far has had a massive reveal at the end. And this one has to do with the journal that Adebayo planted. I think it was last episode. And basically the murdering cop that murdered like the unconscious person and the 2 other cops earlier in this episode, he goes on live TV, and now since he's a butterfly, he's obviously against Murn and the whole team. He reveals Peacemaker's entire journal, explaining how he killed a bunch of people and all this kind of stuff, and basically just incriminating Peacemaker. And remember, Adebayo is the one who put this journal inside of Peacemaker's house, and everyone on the team and Peacemaker himself has admitted that he doesn't have a journal. And so I think that since this is incriminating him, it's such a big deal. Next episode, I think Adebayo is going to come clean about it. I think all of the secrets will be revealed next episode to both sides. Vigilante and Peacemaker will find out about the butterfly situation like in full, and then Adebayo will come clean to the rest of the team about the journal and her mom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to see where this show is going. So far, I've really been enjoying it. I would say no episode in the show has been under phenomenal. This show as a whole so far is god tier. But yeah, guys, that's basically it for this video. Let me know what you thought of Peacemaker episode 6 in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.